As promised, I'm going to show you how to do a quick roller set in your hair. As you can see, my hair is still a pretty day-old style from the last time that I did it. And I recently posted pictures on my blog. What I just took out were the two clips or the two pins that I had on either side of my mohawk. So I want to begin by starting with, this is not a fresh hair. I didn't just wash it or anything. I do want to just continue with this current wash as it stands. Because of the winter, I'm trying to reduce the number of times that I wash my hair at this time in order to prevent dryness. So I have my container of half water, half vegetable glycerin with a little bit of rosemary. I believe it's rosemary. I'm just going to spritz my hair on the top and try to rub it through. And then as I'm doing this, I want to make sure I have all of my tools, which are my curling rods. I want to make sure I have my bonnet. I want to have my oil, my sealant. The sealant that I chose today is avocado oil. I want to make sure I have a brush, a couple combs to comb out, the top of my hair. And then I also want to make sure I have a fine tooth comb so that when I'm putting the hair in the rollers, that it's as neat as possible. So now that I've sprayed this mixture into my hair, I'm going to make sure I also grab my moisturizer. And today I'm using the Coil Moisturizing Souffle by Dark and Lovely. This actually has been working pretty well. It's similar to the Shea Moisture Curl Enhancing Smoothie. So I'm just going to grab a generous amount, put it on the tip of my finger, and then apply it to my head. And as I'm doing this, I'm going to also check to make sure that I did distribute a certain amount of the mixture in my hair, but I hadn't gotten some back here, so I'm just going to add a little bit just to make sure I catch it good. You don't want it to be dripping wet, but you do want it to be moisturized, or at least feel some moisture in your scalp. And the reason why I'm doing it from a dry hair versus wash head is because sometimes when your hair is too wet, it takes longer for the curling rods to dry. And I have a lot of cooking and things to do between tonight and tomorrow, so I don't want to have, to be thinking about my hair not drying in time. So what I'm trying to do here is separate my hair into sections, and I'm just going to show you how I can, how to do the top. And then on my blog, I'm just going to post pictures of how it looked overall. It doesn't have to be a straight part, as you can see. I just want to make sure that I separated the hair. Starting from the very ends, you want to use a wide tooth comb to comb the very ends out. Because I have a mohawk, I use this comb for the longer part of my hair. I use a brush for the sides, kind of like a brush cut, and then I use this comb like a pick to pick up the back. So I'll just show you how I pick it out. Okay, now I did not add any oil to seal in the moisture, so I'm going to go ahead and do that to the top section right here, so you can see how I do this when I'm setting my hair. I don't have a whole lot, I just sprinkled a few drops on my palm. You can see it running down. I'm just going to make sure I get the oil all the way through. Okay. Now, when you're doing the curling rod set, you do not have to part your hair, but I am going to part it just to make sure that I have clean curls. When I am separating it, you won't be able to tell that there's any type of separation. And once again, you don't have to focus too much on the path not being straight. So now what I'm going to do is take my small tooth comb, after this section has already been combed out, with the wide tooth comb, and just make sure it's combed out all the way through the ends, first with the big side, and then you want to go back over it with the small side. Okay? Now you want to roll your fingertips all the way to the end, just pulling the hair away from your head. Grab your curling rod. You can't see this direction, it's really difficult to see. Oh, also, you want to grab your brush and brush the hair that you're going to put into the curling rod so that everything is together and smooth. You see how this is much smoother than the rest of my hair right now because it hasn't been brushed. So I'm going to wrap the ends. You're going to make sure you come all the way around and squeeze it as tight as possible and wrap it and try to get down as far to this end as possible, and then just pull it to the top. Now what you're going to see me do is leave a space between the root of my head and where the curling rod is going to stop. I don't want the curls to be too tight, so I'm going to stop it right here and clip it. Okay, so I'm going to show you another one again. Let's take a little section of the section that I've already parted out. And you want each section to be maybe about a ½ inch in width, you know, depending on the thickness of your hair. So I'm going to take the wide tooth comb again, using the larger part of the comb to comb it out. Then I'm going to run through it with the smaller teeth. And then I'm going to go ahead and brush it. So make sure that it's nice and neat. And I'm going to use another, I have a short one and I have a long one. You can use either or. I like to kind of mix them up sometimes so that there can be some variety in the curls. But what I'm going to do is still go ahead and use the long one. I'm going to pull my hair away from the scalp as much as possible. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in my curling rod. And I want to try to make sure I get the hair starting as far or as close to the end as possible. So I do that, and then I make sure I just roll it around, roll the tip around. If you do not catch the tip of your hair, you can end up with fuzz balls in the end. So if you ever notice that when you do a curling rod set, you have fuzzies on the end, it's because you didn't catch your hair, and also because your hair may be too wet. So just be mindful of that. So once again, you can see that there's space between the root of this section of hair and the curling rod. I'm just going to stop it right here. So I'm going to continue, and it's going to be a little slack, which is fine, but it's exactly how I want it. The back of my hair, I'm just going to go ahead and put this into a 2-strand braid, and I'll post pictures of the results of my hair tomorrow or later on this week, but I definitely will make sure that I take pictures so that I can post them at a later date. But I will definitely keep you posted. Most likely I'll put something on IG. So follow me at Lofa, L-O-F-A, Naturalista, N-A-T-U-R-A-L-I-S-T-A on Instagram, and you can follow me on Twitter at Livelyhood, spelled incorrectly, Livlyhood. Thank you.